Welcome to the Confident Care Academy podcast. This is episode 2, How to Survive on Night Shift. My name is Anna. I am a travel ICU nurse and I am now a first year SRNA.
And I'm Chrissy Becerra, Chrissy CRNA. I am obviously a certified registered nurse anesthetist. And we're gonna jump right into it.
Yeah. First, before we get into it, comment what you would like us to talk about next time. Please subscribe and follow us on everywhere that social media channels are.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok,
blog.
We both have blogs, and we're both gonna have our own YouTube channels. Anna already has hers, and mine is coming soon. So stay tuned for that.
Exactly. So this is how to survive night shift for new grad nurses. And this is something that I was not prepared for at all in nursing school, even though I worked some night shifts in nursing school. So last time we talked about general tips for wellness and well-being and how to kind of approach being a new grad nurse. This is specifically for night shift. And kind of diving right into it, what do you mean when you talk about sleep hygiene?
Okay, so first and foremost, everybody talks about sleep hygiene, right? So it's okay. Have good sleep hygiene, and people have all these different tips and tricks.
You'll hear everything under the sun.
And people are gonna make like certain medication recommendations that I do not agree with, aka anticholinergics, aka Benadryl and sleep aids that like are not over the counter, not prescribed. And I want to say, don't do that.
Yeah, try to avoid it.
They're going to make things much harder for you in the long run. There's research saying that like long-term use of anticholinergics could actually increase your risk of dementia. Who knows? Causation, correlation, but let's not risk it here. So let's just develop good sleep habits now and see how we do. So
there are a lot of things that you can do that are not medication related that make flip-flopping less painful. I'm not going to say painless because I don't like night shift. I don't function very well in it. But there are some things that you can do that make it better. So kind of diving in, we're also going to have links to products that we like swear by in our Amazon storefront. None of them are supplements or anything like that, but something that I swear by and I tell all of my mentees to get is the blackout window tape. It's on Amazon. It's not blackout curtains, it's window tape.
I've never heard of this.
You place this on your window and it absorbs all of the light that comes in.
Sounds amazing.
Your room is like pitch black. So what I did in Maryland is I put the window tape over the windows in my bedroom and then I put blackout curtains on top of it. And then I shoved a towel under the crack in my door, no light, into my bedroom. It was amazing.
So this is really important because it's really hard to trick your body. It's really hard to trick your circadian rhythm. It knows better.
Pretty intuitive.
No matter what you do, you can never fully, truly trick it. In fact, night shift workers are at increased risk for several kinds of cancers.
Cancer,
So, long-term night shift is not good for your body. We do not recommend it. But unfortunately, being a nurse and being a new grad nurse, there are times in your life where you're going to have night shift. And a lot of new grad nurses have to night-day flip 50-50. So we're going to talk about the differences in approaching those two things during this episode.
They're different.
Yeah, there's like 2 different techniques to manage flipping versus consistent nights. But, either way, whichever one you're doing, night or day flipping, when you're sleeping in between shifts, pre-shift, post-shift, and we'll talk about the different nap strategies, you want a dark room. That's sleep hygiene tip number 1 that every single expert swears by.
Dark room.
You want a dark room because any ounce of light is going to tell your body that it's daylight, and that's when your cortisol levels start to increase and your melatonin levels start to decrease, and that you're already fighting your circadian rhythm. You don't want to make it any worse. So we're gonna try our best to trick our bodies
into thinking it's nighttime. And then the second tip that goes along with that is get very heavy duty shades for your drive home in the morning, because you're driving home at 7:30 in the morning, the sun is rising, you're looking at the sun for however long
are you talking about sunglasses is what you mean?
I'm talking about sunglasses. So get very heavy duty sunglasses that are making it a lot darker.
So you're kind of blocking out the light a little bit.
Yeah, you do not want to be driving home into the sun for an hour, watching the sun come up without, because your body knows that it's daytime. So
it'll wake you right back up. The other thing is along the same vein, avoiding blue light. So avoid just like scrolling social media post shift. You also like while you're at work or after work, you want to there's like ways to turn down the brightness on the screen and put your phone into night mode. So if you can put it into night mode while you're on night shift, and then when you're home, don't look at your phone. Do not disturb mode is your best friend. don't look at the blue light until your nap is over. Save your scrolling for post-nap. It'll help wake you back up.
Yep. And I honestly really like putting my phone to be set on the dark backlight mode anyway, because it's a lot.
Always?
I have it always set that way.
Interesting. Okay.
So that it's always like the darker light on my phone itself. There's kind of mixed research on the blue light glasses. Like some people wear them.
They seem to not necessarily, we don't know if they work or not.
We don't really know if they work. They look cute. So if you want to look cute and you don't need like a prescription set of glasses, that can be a good thing to do. But it's kind of mixed research on whether it works or not. To my current understanding about it.
To my current understanding as well.
Yeah.
Other things you can do. So we're avoiding sunlight, right? We're getting blackout curtains. We're making it dark. We're wearing sunglasses on our ride home, and we're keeping our phone in night mode, and we're not looking at it before we go to sleep. We are using white noise. Yeah. So whether that's a white noise maker or a fan in your room, white noise really, really helps.
Yep.
Also, like possibly earplugs if you have pets at home that are going to be loud.
Neighbors.
Whatever it may be. More importantly, a cold temperature. Yep. There is a lot of research on that, having a cold room. So turn down the air conditioning. Again, a fan is like a little bit of a dual use, right? It's cooling and it's serving white noise.
And it makes it colder. So I would honestly set my AC at like 65 for night shifts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's pretty cold.
It makes your body want to hibernate though.
It lowers your core body temperature, which automatically tells your body that it's time to sleep. And then you can then also like cover up, and then when you place those covers on, your body also starts to calm down. So then that kind of goes into another tip, which is like, honestly, I love a weighted blanket.
Weighted blanket in the setting of a cold temperature room.
Yeah. It helps, it feels like a hug. It helps relax your nervous system. I'll also have links to like my favorite weighted blanket.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
That I got when I had COVID, and it's my favorite blanket ever. They have some that are like not hot as well, so if you live in like a warmer climate.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I need that.
You're not necessarily like sweating inside of it.
Okay.
It can be made out of like cool wicking materials.
Nice.
That helps a lot too.
Cool.
Which then I feel like, do you have any other like products like?
So this is another thing that goes along with the weighted blanket and the cooling down your core temp. Actually, keeping warm socks on your feet when you sleep, it helps, because if you have cold feet
and you wake up and
well, it's not just that, it actually has to do with your core temperature. So basically it's like more surface area to cool down like your blood supply essentially.
Nice.
I know. So if you have like warm feet with like that are vasodilated because they're warm and fuzzy, it's going to like distribute the blood to like the lower extremities more and like allow your feet to get like, they're gonna have that perfusion, and it's gonna like, it's.
I never knew that. That's so interesting.
I heard about that on TikTok from a podiatrist.
I love it.
And I didn't explain that very well, but that's okay.
No, we love podiatrists.
Apparently, it's better for your temperature regulation. I might have said it backwards, guys. You can fact check me on that one, all right?
We can check the podiatrist on that one. That would be super interesting. On that one. Speaking also, one more thing about core temperature. It is better to take a shower before you go to bed. I know that it's better for your hair and your scalp to go to sleep with a dry hair, because you're like laying on it and it's moist or whatever. But if you're combating like working shift work, you take a hot shower and you step out, your core temperature starts to automatically drop.
Yeah.
And then if you turn on the AC, you take a hot shower, you step out, your core temperature starts to drop, you hop directly in bed, and that kind of automatically tells your body that it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's not the greatest for your scalp, but it is helpful to kind of calm and slow your body down. So
other things I used to do when I was a night shift nurse is I would, now this only works if you live in the city like I do, but I would walk home from work, and I would take a nice long walk home from work. It took me 30 minutes to walk home, and there was a couple benefits to that. One, it would help me decompress from like the stress of the shift, because what you'll notice is around like
you're up, you're like wired.
Yeah, you're suddenly wired because there's a dip that happens between like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. on night shift. Like that is when your cortisol levels have dropped the most naturally, and your melatonin levels are highest naturally, and then your body's cortisol levels naturally rise with the sun around like 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. Like that's how your body works.
And and
the melatonin's dropping.
Yeah.
So the problem is that you're now like, this is your body clock like doing its thing, and then now you just finished your shift, you're finally ready to get sleepy, and now your body's like, good morning. So this was a good way to like walk off the anxiety, kind of just start to make myself tired, and then I would take a shower, eat a big breakfast. I would make myself eggs and potatoes. I would eat a ton of food. And then I would like pass out in my dark, cold, quiet room, and I would have a very good nap. Now, this is a very controversial point. I would force myself to wake up at 1 p.m. Like, I would not let myself sleep past 1 p.m.
That is controversial, which kind of then gets in, well, we'll touch on that a little bit. Do you want to talk about food first before we talk about like napping versus?
Okay, so before we get into the nap strategy,
Yeah. So
what did you do?
So food, I'm one of the people who struggled with night shift nausea.
Same.
Because your body just doesn't like being awake in the middle of the night. You're very uncomfortable. So you wake up, you're not really necessarily hungry before you go to work. Force yourself to eat something. So I found that what works best is like, be a rabbit. Eat small, frequent, healthy meals. Or like, it doesn't even have to be a meal. Healthy snack. Apples and peanut butter. Eat some chips and some salsa and like some eggs or a protein bar or something. Like whatever you can like make yourself eat, because oftentimes your body's not usually hungry between the hours of like midnight and like 5 a.m. because your body is like supposed to be asleep. But I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, I was like,
I don't think I was hungry then either.
I was like nauseous in the middle of the night. And part of that also is like, you're taking care of critical patients. And if your blood sugar is 30 and you're trying to titrate your heparin drip, that's not good. So you need to keep your blood sugar up. Like, eat something. And if it's like small, like little frequent meals, do that. What are some foods that you like to eat?
So my master strategy was half now, half later. So at 4 p.m. before I'd go into work, or 4 or 5 p.m., something like that, before I would start to head in, I would eat half a dinner.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. And a lot of times it'd be like a sandwich. Like I would get like a sandwich and I'd eat
something.
like half of I'm going to call it a hero. None of you guys are going to know what that is. Half a hero. Yep, that was a name. No. Philly is hoagie. It's called a hoagie in Philly. Yeah. On Long Island and New York, it's a hero. Anyway, half a sub.
Miss New York over here.
Half a sub. You're going to have half a hero. And now, before you go into work, and then once you get to work, you're going to do your thing. You've had like a light snack. Maybe it's half a salad. Maybe it's half a bowl of mac and cheese. Like, I don't care what it is.
Whatever it is.
Okay, maybe not too greasy. It's going to make things worse.
That'll make the acid reflux worse.
Yeah, I actually think that the best thing is probably something like some sort of a sandwich, because then you get like your carb for like your now energy, your protein for like the sustaining, and like you can have some healthy fats on there, avocado, whatever, egg, whatever you want it to be. So, make sure you have your protein, your fat, your carb, half now, and then half at around midnight. Because you roll in, you take your report, you're assessing your patients, you're passing your meds, you're bathing your patients if you're a pre-bather. I don't know, very controversial as well.
It's
risky business.
If they're walkie-talkie doing the bath before bedtime, I believe in it. But if they're kind of a bedbound patient who's likely to have bowel movement, it's hard. It's a risk. That's a topic for a separate time. Comment if you're a pre or a post.
Bather.
Comment which one you are.
I don't know. But if I had two, sometimes I would do one and then one. It depends.
But it usually dies down around like 11 p.m. Hopefully.
Yeah. So you should be winding down by 11 p.m. Exactly. Unless things
are hitting the fan.
Things hit the fan. But then that's when you have the other half of the sandwich, right? And that is still in the window where your body's used to being up till midnight, right? You can handle it. You're not nauseous yet.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to give you the energy to sustain through the rest of your shift.
So you can get through that 2 to 4 a.m. slump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit the 2 to 4 slump.
If you don't eat, that also makes nausea bad. Because then your body, like you have an empty stomach, so then when you're burping up that acid reflux, and it's like, it's awful. And then also, like Christy said, it's really important to eat when you get home too, because I would find that I would like not be hungry in the morning, and then I would fall asleep, and then I'd wake up at 11 a.m. ravenously hungry.
Yeah, eat a big breakfast when you
get in. I didn't eat anything, and then like the last thing that you want is to sleep like 2 hours and then wake up because you're hungry and your stomach's growling, and then you're kicking yourself because you have to go back to work tonight and you didn't eat. So eat something big, and then also like meals are irrelevant. There are no rules once you've worked night shift. You can have Chipotle for breakfast. You can have pancakes in the morning before you go to bed. Like, all of the rules are out the window.
Yeah.
I will also say, like, speaking of medications and things that like make you sleep more, alcohol makes you sleep worse. The quality is bad.
So, not on night shifts. Don't drink between your shifts.
Yeah, some people like do things that wouldn't recommend, and like it could make you fall asleep, but your sleep quality is proven to be worse. So
it turns to sugar and it wakes you up like mid sleep cycle. Or a lighter sleep, tossing and turning.
Yeah, it's
not worth it.
Don't do it, even if you have like bad sleep cycles. Like, that is not a good move. And then speaking of other beverages, like coffee and caffeine.
Yeah, so Caffeine Management
is key. Stewardship of caffeine.
I really believe in like a coffee like coming in.
Yeah.
I think that just helps me mentally, like wake up, you're a little groggy between shifts, like okay.
It also helps my mood. Like not in a like caffeine dependency way, but in a like I have my like iced coffee type of way.
Yeah. It perked me up. Now I'll be honest, I did have a second round of caffeine for the 2 to 4 a.m. slump. I did. Right around 2 a.m. is when I'd have my coffee because like I had my sandwich at midnight or 11 and then I can get through the next couple hours and around 2 a.m. I'm feeling it. I would have a small cup, not like a venti, like I mean a small cup, just enough to get me through the next 2 hour slump. And then you start to wake up naturally about, around 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. By 7 a.m. you're out of there. That gives you enough hours for it to wear off before it's bedtime. Don't have caffeine at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Like you need that to be fully out of your system by the time it's bedtime.
If I remember correctly, the half-life is like 6 hours.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So okay, so it's still in your system.
I think the half-life is 6. So the 2 to 4 a.m. slump sucks. What I did is I would have a hard cutoff by midnight for caffeine.
Midnight cut it off?
I cut it off at midnight, and then for the 2 to 4 a.m. slump, I would have a LaCroix, or I would have like something that
fizzy,
fizzy and carbonated, and I would like make myself get up and move around. Like that's when I would do a rap. That's when I do a lap and be like, hey, does anybody need anything? Do you guys need a turn? Like just like to like jar my body out of moving.
The movement's helpful.
It's going to depend on how like caffeine sensitive you are too. So like I think that I was like a little bit more caffeine sensitive, and I struggled really to sleep in between night shifts, and I also had a long commute. Don't do that. Don't have a long commute. I had like
that's the
it was like an hour for day shift and an hour and a half for night shift. So then like I wouldn't be getting home until like 9:30 a.m. and like there was a couple times I fell asleep driving. So like don't just live close to work if you know that you have to work night shifts.
Yeah.
But I know that like for me, I needed to cut the caffeine off at midnight, and I'm interested to see how I'm gonna handle that like as a nurse anesthesia resident.
Yeah, doing it on 24-hour shifts.
24-hour shifts.
I find it easier actually on 24-hour shifts now. I try to keep my schedule as normal as possible, and like if things get crazy and I have to be up all night, so be it. Right. But there's a lot of times where like you might have a chill night and then you'll be mad at yourself if you drank caffeine late or like waited to eat your dinner till midnight because like you could have just been in bed. So I just try to stay on a normal day shift schedule when I'm on my 24s, and and I bring little snacks with me. So if I get really busy, like I can ask someone to let me step out for a minute, and I'll just go eat like chips and hummus, just enough to like get me through the next few minutes. And I'll just drink water. I don't do caffeine overnight on my 24s.
Interesting.
So
I'll probably do that too.
Yeah. And now
little snacks are key.
You probably would.
Little snacks are key.
Little
like
snacks.
Like Trader Joe's has these little like pita chips and hummus packages, like and you can do like apple and peanut butter.
Yeah,
so like something
perfect.
that has like a carb and like a fat and a protein.
Done.
That's gonna get you through, because like it's really easy to fall into the the apple juice and go thing where you just chug an apple juice and then your blood sugar crashes like 30 minutes later.
Oh, so, like, that's also really important. Avoiding too much sugar. You don't want to have sugar crashes. So I really have a very low sugar diet. Me drinking my pink drink earlier. But I don't drink sugary drinks. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I avoid sugar at all costs because the spikes and dips from the sugar plus the caffeine are like way too much for me to handle.
It's a lot, because you'll bottom out very quickly. So overall...
Hydration.
Oh yeah, this is the last thing. For me, personally, I cut off my water intake at 4 a.m. because...
I think that makes sense.
I don't want to wake up at 11 a.m. because I have to pee. And for some reason, I feel like my bladder is like more irritated when working night shift versus day shift. Because day shift, I can drink water up until I go to bed, and then I don't wake up to pee until the morning. But
That's impressive.
But if I am drinking water, I also drink a lot of water. Like I probably drink like a gallon a day usually.
Wow. No, I'm not that good at drinking water.
So I drink a lot of water, and I cut myself off by 4 a.m. so that I can like pee for my last time by like 8:30, 9 a.m. and then I can go to bed.
I really like those like hydration bottles that like have like a goal. You know what I mean?
I like ice in mine, so I like them smaller so that the ratio of like ice to water. I'm picky.
I'm a room temperature water girl. I actually hate ice water. I'm just very unpopular. Kind of, but I just don't like.
That's not the reason.
No, that's not the reason. It doesn't hurt my teeth when I drink ice. I just hate it. I like it. I'm like,
that like cold European influence. Like they don't drink ice water.
I'm very European at heart.
Yes, exactly. So then that kind of ties into the like.
So stay hydrated early on.
Stay hydrated early on, and then go to bed. That ties into the next thing, which is you're in a string of nights versus you're doing a flip flop.
Oh. Handling, okay.
The flip-flop is brutal.
The flip-flop is brutal, and I used to have to do it every single week. Like, Night day, 50-50, night day, night day, night day, night. Terrible.
So like as a new grad, you usually don't have control over your schedule. Mm-hmm. Like it's just, you're at the mercy of the schedulers, which is brutal, but you're doing your time. So you're doing your time, and then after you've been there a year or two, your schedule becomes a lot more palatable.
Yeah.
But it's brutal, to be honest with you, your first year or two. And hopefully they're nice to you and they let you work like 4 nights in a row.
If you can stack it, it's
nice,
way better.
Because then you can sleep longer in between. But a lot of times you're working Monday day, Tuesday night, Saturday day. Like,
dude, I'd be like Tuesday night off Wednesday and back Thursday day. I would not even have 2 days off in between.
Absolutely brutal.
So how do you manage the 1 day flip back? This was my technique for the 1 day flip back.
Everybody does it a little different, but Chrissy's been doing it longer, so let's.
And I have to 1 day flip back after call shifts sometimes too. Like I'll work a 24-hour call. I may or may not be up for 24 hours straight, and then I'll be back
Wednesday day.
The next day later. So a day later. So I never sleep past 1 ever. And then I will, so it depends on if you're going back into a night shift or a day shift again, or no shift. But I would sleep so I would walk home, eat my big breakfast, shower, do all the things.
Yeah.
And go to sleep by like 9 a.m., 10, 11, 12, 1. That's a 4-hour time block. That's enough to get through 2 full sleep cycles.
Which a full sleep cycle is...
It's about 2 hours.
It's 90 minutes of uninterrupted sleep, but depends on how long it takes you to fall asleep.
There you go.
So if you fall asleep quickly, you want to set that timer, and you want to really time your sleep in regard to sleep cycles as well. So which then kind of ties into naps. Like we can talk about that later, but like you don't want to wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle, is what I'm saying. So time it around like, okay, so the first 2-hour block is going to be your first sleep cycle. Second 2 hours is going to be your second sleep cycle. And then you kind of want to wake up right after that conclusion, so that you don't wake up. If you ever wake up feeling horrible, you probably woke up in the middle of the sleep cycle.
Yeah, so when you do, we'll get to daytime naps, but when you get to a daytime nap, it should be either less than 30 minutes, like a cat nap, or a full 90-minute sleep cycle, plus the time it takes you to fall asleep. So, 2 hours or 30 minutes is how I set my timers.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's research-based.
Yeah, and actually I learned that during my psychology degree.
Wow.
Many years ago, before I was a nurse.
It all comes together.
So, all right, so I'd wake up at 1 p.m. This is for the 1 day flip back, right? So night shift, off a day, and then coming in the next day.
6 a.m.
Right. Yeah. So 1 p.m. and then I would stay up and go to bed at normal time, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And that worked for me.
I did that too.
If I was going into another night shift, I would take another short nap around 4 to 5 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would sleep in, cut it off.
Wake up,
do a couple things, and then and I didn't force myself to sleep. I would lay down. Hopefully it'd be sleep, but it'd be like a 30-minute nap.
Yeah.
So from 4 to 5 would be like my time to lay down, sleep or not sleep. And then I'd get up and then I'd eat my dinner, my half dinner, and then I'd go back in.
Half and half. Oh, speaking of half and half, Chipotle delivers to most hospitals. If you're lucky enough to live near a major city, they deliver until 10 p.m. So if you didn't pack anything.
Okay, there you go.
I ate a lot of Chipotle in Baltimore.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But so my approach for, let's say that we're starting and I am working tomorrow night. What I would do, one of 2 things.
Okay, so we're coming off a day shift schedule and going into a night shift schedule. This is the opposite now.
This is the opposite. So I did one of 2 things. The first thing that I would do is I would go to bed at a normal time, like 10:30. I'd wake up at a normal time, like 6 or 7. And then I would try to take a nap from
That's what I used to do.
noon to 3, or from 1 to 4. I would
I did the same thing, and it really worked. Yeah. And you don't always sleep, but at least you rest.
And then I would have the morning of, no coffee. So
no coffee that morning.
So I would wake up at 7 or 8 a.m. I would try to get a workout in, and I would be a little bit not happy because I didn't drink a cup of coffee, and then I would go to bed after lunch. But again, make it cold inside, eat a big lunch, and then try to go take a nap. Yeah. Or sometimes what I would do is I would stay up until 1 or 2 a.m. and then I would try to sleep in until 10 a.m. and then just go into work. I didn't like that technique.
I tried that. It never worked for me.
Because it felt like I was awake for too long before going in. Some people stay up 24 hours, but I think that adds to sleep debt.
Yeah.
When your body knows that you didn't sleep for a full 32 hours before you went into work, and then you're going into a string of night shifts and you don't sleep very well. I was never a fan of that. I did that once. And
I don't think it's good for your body at all.
I don't think it's good for your body, especially because, like, for night shifts as a bedside nurse, like, it's not like call, like, you're never laid down. Yeah. So you're like up and like moving the whole time.
Yeah.
The other thing, so if I was flipping night shift to day shift, I did the same thing you did. I would try to be in bed by 9:30 and I would be up by 1.
Yeah.
1 or 2 at the latest if I went to bed at 10.
So if you're flipping from nights to days, you would be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the same.
It's the same. And then to be honest with you, I would lay on the couch in misery until I could go back to sleep because 3 hours was not enough for me after a night shift.
Yeah.
Some people.
Well, you were getting home later than me also.
I was getting home later.
So for you,
I had a commute.
You had that commute. I was home really quick, so that changes things a little bit.
Yeah. Ryan, she will stay up after a night shift for like a full 30 hours or whatever.
That's insane. See, I think that's a terrible idea.
I love her, but I don't think that's good for you.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. Like, don't just like drink coffee and then be like, I'm going out to do everything. Like, I think you need like at least a sleep cycle or 2.
Oof. That is stuff you can do in your early 20s. Like, that is not.
I think it catches up to you.
It catches up to you. Don't do that.
That's Ryan P. That's me. She's our girl.
But we love her.
But we want her to sleep more.
We disagree with her sleep stuff.
We want her to sleep more. Follow her on all platforms too.
Yeah. We love Ryan. Big Ryan fan club around here.
Yeah. Just sleep more. So I think all of that together, like practicing sleep hygiene, making sure that you're eating, making sure that you're sleeping. Going outside is huge.
Oh, yes.
So even if it doesn't have to be a big run, but just get outside. Just go outside, sit on a little bench, do a little walk.
Yeah, get outside. And then again, like utilizing the fact that your body has a circadian rhythm. Yep. So work with it instead of against it as much as you can. So when you go outside, you're naturally going to have that sunlight cue to boost your cortisol, drop your melatonin, and that's going to help you get back on that day-night cycle faster.
Yep.
Breathing in the fresh air. Also, when I was in Finland, they have, so what they do in Finland is they go outside every single day, no matter what.
Jealous.
It does not matter if it's a blizzard. It doesn't matter if it's icy rain. My pet's coming to visit. You are going to get outside no matter what, and they call it sisu. They have grit, basically. And it's and that is just like really huge in their culture. And and they talked about like the importance of like the fresh air and getting outside, really no matter what. And living in the city, I try to do that too. Like there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. So put on as many layers as you need to. Just go for a lap around the block. I mean, unless it's really horrific, but it's going to reset you. It's going to get you back on track.
I will also say get a follow-up appointment with your primary care provider and make sure that you don't have anything like super wild. I was anemic starting night shift and needed to take some iron supplements, which is again something that you need to just discuss with your primary care provider and like figure out what's going on for you personally. But like if you're anemic, you're going to be fatigued anyway and going into night shift and like, or maybe if you are if you're vegan and you're like a newer vegan and you're not necessarily supplementing everything, like just make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
That's really important. Also, you know, some people, like no matter how good of a sleep hygiene you have, you're just going to not get enough sleep and that's going to affect your overall health. So you can go to your primary care physician to talk about it as well for perhaps prescription sleep aids or just different things that can help you with with
nights. Yeah, I agree.
Again, no specific medication recommendations, but you can talk to your doctor about it if the basic sleep hygiene tips and tricks don't help you.
Yep. And you should be seeing your primary care provider anyway.
Yes.
At least once a year.
I delayed a lot.
Yes.
In early 20s.
It's so funny that we're the people who work in healthcare and we're so bad at taking care of ourselves. But take care of yourselves better than we did. And I feel like that's everything. It was kind of a lot, but I
think that's everything.
Basically, try to set up as many little hacks as possible to make your home and your body conducive to sleeping for as much as possible. It's very simple stuff. Go outside, eat, drink water. Movement. Don't have too much caffeine. But like, it's easy to say and then not very easy to do. So
those
set
little
yourself up
tricks
for success.
Do add up. And if you do get control of your schedule at some point, if you can find a way to block out your night shift straight so that you're just on a straight night shift schedule, you're going to have an easier time staying on it than when you do that constant flipping. So if you have any control, try to block your nights together and that's going to help you a lot as well.
I like to block them, so I would like to do 4. I would do Friday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and then I would do.
Oh, so 4 in a row. That's a lot.
I do 4 in a row, and then 1 off, and then 2 on, and then that would be my 2 weeks of nights. And then I would just stay on the night shift schedule for that one.
Wow.
But that's also really going to depend on whether are you sleeping less and less each time, or are you sleeping more? So
yeah, some people just get used to it and they're able to sleep through the entire day in between and essentially completely flip their schedule.
I would sleep like 9 to 5, but if you're doing like Chrissy and like sleeping like 9 to 1, you really shouldn't do 4 in a row because you're not getting enough sleep for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really going to depend on your own like body and if you can actually sleep. Some people also like to do day, night. So,
yeah, I used to do that sometimes. I do day, night.
And then you kind of flip, and then it doesn't necessarily feel exactly like 4 in a row, but it's really just going to depend. And again, as a new grad, you're kind of bottom of the totem pole for scheduling. So
yeah, do the best you can. Just be kind to yourself.
Yeah, be nice to yourself. Make sure that you're eating, drinking, walking around, moving, and
simple things.
So comment what you want us to talk about next time. This has been Confident Care Academy podcast.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming. Please subscribe and check us out on all of the social media platforms.
See you there.
See you there.